I win this time as well. For those that don't, in 2016, thank you. In 2016, I ran for the same position as a conservative Christian Republican across the state. 11 candidates in the race, millions of dollars spent. We spent $30,000 in the primary and drove 40,000 miles across the state saying, we have common sense solutions that make sense. And of course, we won the primary, and then we won 37 out of 39 counties in the general. The current lieutenant governor is stepping down. It's an open position again. We're once again in a race with 11 people. So when the ballots now, if you're a veteran or active duty, the ballots are already in your mailbox. People already got them. There we go. And then for the rest of us, in about 30 days, you'll get your ballot for the primary. You have 36 governor candidates. You have 11 lieutenant governor candidates, and then on down the line. And you have all your congressional ones as well. So Marty McClendon at the bottom of lieutenant governors, you got to make sure you point that out and actually vote for me. Now, why would you do that? Because most people don't know what the lieutenant governor does. I'll make it quick. It's probably the most underrated and overlooked and underappreciated office in state government. It's the only statewide office that's both executive and legislative. What does that mean? Every executive office has a charter or a duty, like OSPI or Commissioner of Public Lands or whatever. So does the lieutenant governor. But in legislative sessions, you're the presiding officer over the Senate. Nothing comes to the floor unless the lieutenant governor pulls it to the floor. Very powerful. That the idea the lieutenant governor can actually run legislation. No other executive can do that. You have to be a senator or a representative to do that. The lieutenant governor can actually run its own bills. But they make decisions on every rule as well. So the rules on the floor, last time, every single time where a rule decision was needed by the lieutenant governor, or every single time there was a tie, 32 times this last session, they all went in the favor of the Democrats. Imagine that, right? Okay, put a Republican in there, put me in there, and of course it will be fair and just, and they won't go all in one direction because these decisions are very important. The comprehensive sex ed bill that came across the floor at 2 o'clock in the morning with the party line vote, it wouldn't come to the floor in the middle of the night, the lieutenant governor. You have to pull it. I'd fight against that. So now we know it's on the ballot. It's a great issue. Executively, though, you can work on issues that you're passionate about. Many of you have heard me talk before, but lieutenant governor has the bully pulpit, but he also has a staff outside of the regular session. When they're not being governor, when they're not on the investment boards, when they're not presiding over the Senate as the chief officer, they can work on things they care about. And what I care about, number one, is education. And I don't mean just education. We spent $15 billion a year on education, $30 billion every budget cycle. You would think that as citizens, as parents, as grandparents, we'd expect better results for the money we spend, right? And yet we don't. We still have 1 in 5 kids drop out of high school every single year. So 20% of our kids, we're spending $30 billion every 2 years, still drop out of high school, okay? Of that, though, just numbers for you real quick, like, of the 80% that go through and graduate, 48% are at math level and 49% are at science level. So 50% of our kids aren't even at grade level for math and science, the very basic things we should be doing. Of the ones that graduate and go to college, about a third of them, half of those drop out before they're done with college. Of the ones that graduate, 54% are underemployed or unemployed in the job they went to school for. A huge math. We have a problem. We have a system that doesn't work for all kids. 70% of the kids that graduate high school need a different alternative pathway. What I want to do is rein back in our education system so our kids have exposure to the trades. Auto shop, wood shop, metal shop, all the stuff we grew up with, right? Because the facts are we have 7.1 million jobs available right now, with no one to fill them. So we have to import our labor. If we expose our kids earlier on, give them opportunity, and then put real market data, partner with Employment Security Department to give them real data in high school. So if they're not going to college and they're told that there's great careers available to you right now if you go get trained or whatever, in the trades and the skills or whatever. A certified mechanic makes $80,000 a year starting to $120,000. Can you tell a kid who's not going to college that he can provide for your family and your household right away out of high school? They're going to be excited. They have to be exposed to it. And then long term, you work and you pass legislation that actually ties into building centers of excellence so our kids can graduate high school with a journeyman degree. What do you think? It'd be a great idea. I'll finish up on the first speaker. I know many speakers are here. Accountability and families. Use the bully pulpit here. The number one indicator for success for all kids besides education is two-parent households. And we've got a war on households, we've got a war on family, and a war on faith right now. And you need someone who will stand up for all those. Defend the Constitution. But as our prayer person said, we need godly candidates that honor God first and put God first in everything. We also need citizens that honor God to get engaged and back those candidates. And that's why I'm glad you're all here, because now's the time. Our kids and grandkids and their future are at stake right now, more than it ever has been before. We've seen the crazies right now over in Seattle or in Olympia, right? It's time to say no more to you. We want to restore some normal, common sense values in our state. Wouldn't you say so? All right. So I'll leave you with this. In 2016, when I won the primary and no one knew who I was in Stevens County, far side of the state. I was the 15th speaker at 10:30 at night. No one was going to remember me. They just some talking head. And I brought a big bag of M&Ms up. I held it up and I said, M&M, Marty McClendon. When you go to vote, remember the candy, M&M, and vote for Marty McClendon. So God bless you.
Marty truly appreciates me for just me.
You know, your car breaks down in the middle of I-90 bridge. Marty's the guy you call to come and pick you up.
You know, I was kind of surprised he would ask me to be his best man. Marty knew a lot of people, and I'm really thankful that he showed that kind of love towards me.
One of the primary quotes Dr. Martin Luther King made was that one day we'll be able to appreciate people not based upon their color, but the content of the character. And I see that in Marty.